Welcome back to another video, and in this video we're going to be continuing on with our SwiftUI tutorial series, and in this particular tutorial we are going to be taking a look at how we can use the scenePhase environment value to determine whether or not our application is in one of three states: active, inactive, or background. So let's go ahead and get started by talking about what these three states actually mean. Well, the active scene phase means that your app is currently in the foreground and interactive by the user, so the user is actively using the app. Background means your app is not visible but is still open in the background. Now, inactive means that it is still visible to the user, but you're not actively interacting with the app. So an example of this state occurring is when you're in the app switcher on iOS. That is technically an inactive scene phase, so you can perform certain things when you're in that state. Like if you need to save some unsaved data and you don't know whether or not the user's going to close your app, but you really need to make sure that this stuff is saved, you can make sure that your data in core data or Swift data is saved when that state is reached. You could also do that when your app is in the background, right? So if you don't close the app and your app is in the background, you can still save it, save your data and stuff like that. However, you're also going to want to consider when your app is in a background scene phase. You also want to make it a point to decrease tasks that might drain user battery or take up a lot of, say, cellular data, for example. So there are many use cases for listening for the scene phase environment value. That's why I felt it necessary to show it to you, because you really should take these things into consideration when building applications, even on the Mac. Now, the best way I know how to demonstrate this is on iOS, so that's what we're going to use, but just know that this is compatible with macOS. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Inside of Xcode, I'm inside of my content view. It's empty other than its body property. Above our body property, we're going to say @environment . And then this property wrapper is going to take one parameter, and that is the key path for the value we want to reference. And that'll be .scenePhase. Now I'm going to say var phase. So our scenePhase object will be called phase. Now, in this example, I'm going to change the background of our view, right? So we're going to have a color view be the only view where its edges are going to ignore the safe area and all that sort of stuff on all edges. And that color is going to be different based on the phase of the scene. All right? So inside of our body, we're going to have a conditional. So if phase is equal to .active, so if the user is actively using the app, we'll say color.green .edges ignoring safe area. So if we want a view to ignore the safe area, then this is the modifier we'll use. And then we'll say .all. So we want to ignore all the edges of the safe area. else if phase is equal to dot inactive, then we will say color dot, let's say teal. So it's a little bit more of a contrasting color. Dot edges ignoring safe area. Dot all. And then else, this else condition will then only be executed if they add a phase in the future for whatever reason, or if the phase is dot background. So if it's in the background, we will then change this to color dot red dot edges ignoring safe area dot all, like that. All right, now I'm going to run this on my phone. All right. And then I'm going to screen mirror here. Okay, there we go. All right. Screen mirroring. Screen mirror to my Mac. All right, so here we are.
Screen mirroring button.
So here is our application. You can see we have a green background that takes up the entire screen. But if we go into our app switcher,
Tutorial app switch
you can see the background color of our application changed. So now it's teal instead of green.
Close tutorial app switch UI.
If we were to close it, I'm going to close that.
Tutorial app switch UI.
Okay, so if we were to close this,
Activate. Close tutorial app switch UI. Close.
it will briefly flash red.
67% charging.
It briefly flashes red and then goes away because, well, actually no, it doesn't. So when you go out of the app switcher but you're not focused on the application, then it goes red. You could, if you wanted to, do stuff when the app closes, but you'll have to do something else for that because the scenePhase doesn't account for that. Anyways, guys, that pretty much does it for this video on how we can use the scenePhase environment value to detect the current phase of our application's scene. Thank you all so very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.